Action.
Hi, this is Tony from Wickham Tractor Company, and I want to take a couple minutes today to go over the L Series Kubota tractor and just a daily check inspection list on it to keep your unit up and running and most importantly enjoyable. Today we have a customer's L3301 Kubota and we're just going to go around the basic checks on it. The first thing I'm going to do is push this hood shut and have you come around the front side of this unit and show you how to get this hood open. So the first thing you're going to want to do if you have a loader on your tractor is pull the grill guard forward. And there's a spring-loaded pin that you'll pull on and pull forward on the grill guard. That's going to allow the hood, where the release is located on the lower left side, that's going to allow the hood to come up and gain access to the attention items underneath it. The first thing you're going to see is the air filter. You really don't need to open this system up on a daily basis unless you've been doing a lot of just real heavy debris type mowing where you got a lot of dust and chaff in the air. And one way to check that is there's a little valve on the side of this air breather housing, and you can just squeeze that valve and see if you get a bunch of dust and chaff that falls out of it. We'll go into in a later video that goes more in depth on services how to open up the air filters and verify if they need changed or not. The other thing on your daily check you're going to want to do is Kubota does a really good job of putting a screen in front of the radiator. In order to access that screen and keep it cleaned out, you can simply lift up on this metal spring-loaded tab and slide the screen out. And as you can see, this customer, he's been mowing around some cottonwoods or something, and he actually needs to blow that screen out, and that'll help that unit run cooler and keep the radiator clean of debris. You can also just reach down and gently grab your battery connections. You want to do gloves if you have a bunch of buildup of acid and such on an older tractor. This one's pretty clean, and as you can see, both battery cables are tight. In cold weather, it's going to be really important that you have good clean connections so that you get full amperage out of that battery when you go to try and start it with those cold cranking amps. Also, if we look at this tractor, you'll see that you don't need to open the radiator up to check the coolant. Right here you have an overflow reservoir that'll keep your extra coolant. And since this customer's tractor is in for our winter service plan, we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of coolant in this to get that extra coolant up above the low line. As I step out of here, the next thing you want to check on a daily basis is your engine oil level. And on these L series tractors, we actually do get some questions about where is the dipstick to check my daily engine oil level. And it's kind of hit on this tractor. It's easy to get to once you know where it's at. First, we want to make sure the engine's shut off. And once the engine's shut off, we're going to reach in here right behind this front tire. And as you can see, there's a wiring harness right here. And right behind that wiring harness is our engine oil dipstick. We'll check that engine oil dipstick, and this one's wiped clean so you can see. But you're going to have two lines, and you're going to want to be between those lines to verify that you're within the safe mark. If you do need to put some engine oil in it, you're going to want to come around to the right side of the tractor. And we always talk right and left side on these tractors as if you were sitting in the operator's seat. And you'll see the engine oil fill is located right behind this screen. While we're on this side of the tractor, the other thing that we're going to want to check is right here we have a fuel water separator. And you'll see clear water start filling on the bottom of this separator if you do have some water in your fuel. Once it gets to this white line, you're going to want to shut this fuel valve off, unscrew that, dump the water out into a bucket, and put that back on and turn your fuel back on. That just helps us ensure that we aren't running water through the engine. We'll go ahead and close this hood because that'll be all we need to do for daily checks. It's also important to get that grill guard put back in place so that your loader doesn't come in contact with it. As we continue around the tractor, with the unit shut off, we're going to want the loader on the ground, and then we're also going to want the 3-point hitch all the way down when we check the transmission and rear axle fluid for this tractor. And Kubota's updated this in recent years and given us a nice dipstick right here in the center platform. And it's just like engine oil. With the engine shut off, the loader on the ground so that we're measuring the right fluid level, we'll just pull this dipstick out, we'll wipe it off, and we'll check it and make sure that the fluid is located between the two safe lines. It's very important that you make sure the loader's on the ground when you do this and the 3-point hitch is down. What'll happen is if either of those are in the air, it'll show that you're low on oil, and when you add oil to the system, you're actually overfilling the system because you had oil trapped in the hydraulic cylinders on the loader. As we continue our daily check, we'll come around the back of the tractor. You always want to look for loose wheel bolts. Make sure your lights are functioning correctly. And here's where we'll go ahead and put some transmission and hydraulic oil in the unit if for some reason we're low on the dipstick. This red cap right here. And we're going to recommend Kubota fluids for all of these checks, and you can call us at either Fort Morgan or Sterling, and we'd be happy to let you know exactly what your model tractor takes. Safety shields are also a very important thing that we provide from the factory on our equipment. For instance, this Pto Safety Shield. You're always going to want to operate your tractor with that shield on, and if your daily check, if it shows that one of the bolts is missing, loose, or the shield's gone, you're going to want to get with us and make sure we can get those parts replaced for you so that you're operating your tractor safe at all times. You want to check your hitch arms as well and make sure that your linkages don't allow so much sway that your hitch arms come in contact with your tires. That'll cause the edge of this tire to get knocked off and destroyed over time. So we continue with our daily check and we come around the side, observing for loose bolts, making sure that the ROPS is intact and that the seat belt's functional. One other thing comes to mind, even though it's a 50-degree day in December in Colorado, and that's in cold weather, your unit starting whenever you need it to. We're going to recommend that we sell Howes lubricants to treat your diesel, and they have a no gel guarantee. And the important part of that is, on a cold 13-degree morning like we had this morning, the last thing you want is your tractor not to start because your fuel's gelled up and the fuel system can't push it through the injectors. So if nothing else, make sure and stop into either Wickham Tractor location and get yourself some Howes lubricants, diesel treatment, so that your tractor starts. One other quick pointer to end this video is, in Northeast Colorado, our standard homeowners, rural and ag producers don't get to put very many hours on these tractors a year. Our dairies and feedlots will, but usually our other consumers, we see between 50 and 100 hours a year of usage. That's well below the recommended service interval for engine oil changes, transmission fluid changes, and your other filters. But we do recommend that you get a hold of Wickham Tractor once a year and get your unit in for our annual inspection process. And while it's in, let's go ahead and annually change the engine oil and engine oil filter, as well as the transmission filter. That just ensures that we keep fresh fluids in it, that the viscosity doesn't degrade over time. If you have questions about any of the topics we covered today, or wanting to take advantage of our winter service program at Wickham Tractor Company, call Sterling at 970-521-9999 or Fort Morgan at 970-867-5669. And as always, when it comes to farm, feed, and fun, Wickham Tractor Company has your solution.